Hey witches, welcome to Busy, Gritty, Inked, and Witchy, a magical living podcast for the busy witch. I'm Morgan, eclectic witch of almost 25 years, Avalon priestess, and busy witch. Here we'll talk all things witchy, from current metaphysical happenings to my busy witch tips and tricks, and everything in the in-between. This podcast is my personal journey, filled with my knowledge, opinions, and unique way of looking at the world. Join me as I weave the magical and the mundane in every episode. Hey witches, welcome back to Busy, Gritty, Inked, and Witchy. I'm Morgan, and today I am talking about the element of air. I was looking back through past podcast episodes, making note of what I had already done so I knew what I could do in the future, and I realized I've done monthly magic, I've done Sabbath magic, I have done moon phases, and I just started seasonal magic with the spring episode a few weeks ago. But I have never really dove down into elemental magic with you all. So as each element corresponds to a season, I thought it would be really easy to do an episode for each element during its corresponding season. That way, I'm giving you information that you can apply immediately to your practice, and it resonates with the energy that's already flowing around you. It resonates with the season, and so therefore you're just adding magical energy to your everyday life. And that's how I wanted to do the elements. So air is associated with spring, fire with summer, water with fall, and earth with winter. Now, sometimes I have seen fall be associated with earth and winter be associated with water, but for the most part, from a lot of different sources, they stick with the fall being water element and winter being the earth element. And so that's how I do my practice, and that's what I'm going to teach you all today. So what we're going to go over is the energy, the correspondences, and how to work with the element. And these are like my favorite ways to work with that element. So that's what I'm going to cover today. All right, diving right in, the element of air is associated with communication, focus, knowledge, inspiration, imagination, meditation, creativity, which it also shares with fire element, divination, cleansing, and visualization or setting intentions. So each element has its own place in your magical manifestation process, and the element of air kicks it off with setting your intentions, visualizing your intentions coming to reality, all of that kind of really good fun stuff when it comes to the beginning of setting intentions or the beginning of the magical process, okay? So one of my favorite books in the world to get information out of is Llewellyn's Complete Book of Correspondences. It is basically a huge encyclopedia of magical knowledge. I love it. And that is where I get a lot of my just general information when it comes to things I do on the podcast, when we're creating kits for the shop, when I'm teaching an ink spirit lesson, any of that kind of stuff. So these correspondences are from that book. So the air element signs of the zodiac are Aquarius, hello, that's me, Gemini, and Libra. The time of day that corresponds to the air element is dawn. So right as the sun is coming up. The direction most associated with the element of air is east. And for most traditions, and I do say most, I do understand that there are a few traditions out there where the elements are different. There's even a branch of the Avalonian tradition, which is the path that I walk, where the elements are different. It's not one, I tried it, I learned about it, I tried it, it did not resonate with me. But for the most part, east represents the element of air. And when you're starting a circle, like if you're casting a circle during your spell, generally speaking, you start in the east. The colors associated with air are light blue and yellow and white. Those are the three main ones that I use. You can also, according to Llewellyn's Complete Book of Correspondences, use silver, pink, and lavender. The chakras, so this is where I differ a little bit from the Llewellyn book. I heavily associate the element of air with the throat chakra because the element of air deals with communication and speaking your truth. So that's the throat chakra. They also correspond to the crown chakra and the heart chakra. I can definitely see the crown chakra because you're dealing with your connection to the divine, with divination, with that knowledge, gaining messages from a higher source. So I can see that. The heart being associated with the element of air, I don't see it, but I am here to give you all information. And that is what the great book, the great Llewellyn's Complete Book of Correspondences says. Herbs and oils associated with the element of air include anise or star anise, bergamot, clover, comfrey, dandelion, eyebright, frankincense, lavender, mugwort, myrrh, peppermint, sage, sandalwood, thyme, vervain, wormwood, and yarrow. Yeah, I took notes this time, y'all. Like heavy notes. At least for the first page. The second page is I riff it a little bit more. Gemstones associated with the element of air include agate, ametrine, aragonite, blue lace agate, moldavite, opal, clear quartz, and sodalite. I would also like to add here that since I associate the colors of yellow and light blue with the element of air, any light blue or yellow gemstones would also work here. So citrine is actually one of my go-tos for the element of air, which is not even listed in the Llewellyn's Complete Book of Correspondences, but it's one that I've used. And then fluorite. Fluorite heavily. So again, they don't list it, but I would say fluorite is my go-to when I am working with focus, concentration, when I'm trying to increase those energies. I keep a piece of fluorite on my desk, whether it's my work desk, my home desk, anything. I love fluorite for focus and concentration and memory. So that's my go-to. And so I heavily associate fluorite with the element of air for that reason, and also for the divination reason. Like fluorite is really good for opening up your psychic centers, so therefore it would resonate, with the third eye chakra. But gaining knowledge and the purpose of divination is to gain knowledge. So I would use fluorite. To me, fluorite has a multitude of uses. So it's one of my go-to gemstones. Deities associated with the element of air include Athena, Arianrod, Hera, Hermes, Mercury, and Zeus. I also am not listing everything that's in the book, by the way. So if you do have that book, or if you plan to get it, I'm not listing everything. We would be here forever, y'all. I'm giving you pretty much a lot of the ones I use and that's why y'all come here, right? It's like, yes, I'm giving you information, but I'm also giving you my information. It's my podcast. So I'm giving you the things that I generally use when it comes to these correspondences. And then tools associated with the element of air: besom, which is a witch's broom, feathers, and incense. And then you have a wand or an athame. And depending on if you are Wiccan, an athame is often associated with the element of fire as well. And then a bell or any kind of like singing bowl, anything that makes noise, are also associated with the element of air. So now that we have gotten through the book shit, let's move on to the real world application of working with the element of air. Okay, so these are my favorite ways. These are the ways that I will work with the element of air on a regular basis. Or these are like the common ways or easy ways. We're all busy witches here. So these are the easiest ways to incorporate the element of air or work with it, or why you would want to work with the element of air. All of that is in this next part, okay? So the first thing is you can use feathers, incense, a besom, wand, pictures of clouds, butterflies or another one. So any kind of, or birds. So any kind of air animals or insects that have wings. Anything of those can be used to represent the element of air on your altar in the east. So if you're setting up your altar with a compass and whatever direction is east, if that's what you want, where you want to put your element of air, any of these items can be used. So I personally use either feathers, or I have a broom that I made when I was 15. I went to nerd camp in the, that's what I call it. I went to nerd camp in the mountains of Virginia when I was 15, and we went to a blacksmith, I don't know, it was so great. It was really amazing. So we did all these fun things, but one of them was a blacksmith, and I got to make like a little piece of iron. I got to twist it. I have that somewhere, and for years that stayed on my altar as representing the element of fire. I think I have thus moved it somewhere in the house. I still have it somewhere. Anyway, I also made a little hand broom, like handmade this. And I don't even think at 15 I didn't know I was a witch, but I had so much fun. But I still have that broom. And when I became a witch, when I realized, when the inner witch inside of me started to awaken, I still had this besom, this little hand broom that I had made with my two hands. And I said, oh my God, that's going to be my altar besom. And it's been my altar besom ever since. So little fun tangent, but it still applied. But any of these things, and again, winged animals. So if you have pictures of butterflies or birds, hummingbirds, anything like that, you can put those to represent the element of air as well. Then I use the element of air in communication spells. So this is when I need to either open communication between me and another person, or make sure that communication is going effectively. And this is another thing. So like, let's say there's a place in your house where you all sit down and you and your family talk about your day, or maybe you have family meetings there. If you have some representations of the element of air in that room, then that's the energy that's gonna fill that room. I mean, that's magic for the mundane. That's exactly what it is. You don't have to sit down and do these huge rituals to be a witch. You add a little bowl of feathers and or some pictures of some butterflies, maybe a butterfly art print, to a room where your family has their family meetings, or where you sit down every day at dinner to talk about your day. These are ways to just boost the energy in your room. These are super hella witchy things to do, that even if you're in the broom closet, no one is going to think, oh my gosh, that picture of the butterfly on the wall is witchcraft. They're going to be like, oh, cool picture of a butterfly. You know? So these are just really easy ways to just incorporate magic into your everyday life without having to sit down and do spells and rituals and all that kind of stuff. I also like to do, if I have something coming up where a public speaking type of thing or an event, or if it's something where I'm trying to speak my truth, that is another thing that the element of air can really help with, whether you want to do a spell, or I'm very partial to wearing blue or yellow gemstones on days where, like wearing short necklaces with a blue or a yellow gemstone to where it's very close to my throat chakra if I'm doing a public speaking thing. So if you are an Ink Spirit Coven member, pay attention. When I go and do our classes live, I might be wearing like a piece of labradorite, or my holy stone, which is yellowish in color. Or if you see me doing live gemstone sales or anything, just look, because it's like an Easter egg now for you. If you see me wearing my labradorite goddess, it was chosen specifically to help me with communication for whatever that live event was. Another time that I use, or I tap into the element of air, is when I'm gaining knowledge. You can keep an air representation on your desk for focus, concentration, and to pick up knowledge easier. Again, this is where I employ fluorite. This is where I keep it on my desk. If I am working at home, but like I'm sitting in the recliner with like my laptop on my lap, I still try to grab a piece of fluorite and have it on my little laptop desk. So this is where I really incorporate things like I have a feather on my desk too, like just random shit on my desk. It all serves a purpose. So that's another way that you can tap into the element of air, especially if you're a student, you know, carrying a piece of fluorite, carrying a feather, having these kind of things on your desk. You know, those are just ways to tap into the element of air while you're learning. Cleansing is another way I use the element of air. Go outside on a windy day. This is a free witchcraft practice right here. If it's windy outside, go outside and visualize the wind carrying away stagnant or negative energy off of your body. Scream into the wind, get that shit out of you. Open up your throat chakra. If you can scream, if you're at an office complex and you're on your lunch break, people might question, why is she screaming into the wind? But that is a free, easy, extremely empowering witchcraft practice, is to just close your eyes, feel the wind on your skin, and visualize that wind taking away your stagnant energy, your negative energy, your funky mood, whatever, and having it carry it off into the wind. Also, I prefer to cleanse with sound. That does resonate with the element of air. So I use bells or singing bowls. I mean, if you have really stuck energy in your house, use pots and pans, beat on pots and pans, and tell the energy to break the fuck up and get the fuck away out of your house, the negative energy, But this is where bells can come in really handy. You can just go through your house ringing a bell, and if you hear the sound carry out, then you're good. The energy in your house is good. If you go to ring that bell and it's like thunk, thunk, then that's stagnant energy. And then you can take it one step further. You can either use sound to clear out that energy. You can use smoke cleansing, like lighting incense in that area. You can get your besom, your witch's broom, and like sweep out. I will say that stagnant energy gets caught in corners a lot of times. So like if you're walking around your house, using your bell as like a signal for you to know where to cleanse, you'll probably find some stagnant energy in a corner. But anyway, so I use bells to not only cleanse the energy, but also to tell me where the energy needs to be cleansed. And then if you have like an area where it's really, really super thunky, grab your pots and pans. I am serious. Grab a spoon and a pan and beat it. And that is hella cleansing. Especially you can cleanse your throat chakra while you're doing it. If you yell and be like, get the fuck out of my house, stagnant energy, open up your front door, push that energy out, and you're good to go. And then another way that cleansing can work with the element of air is smoke cleansing, like I said. So you can light incense and have the smoke cleanse the area or objects if you need to, if you have something where the energy kind of feels funky, whether it's a gemstone or maybe you pick up a tool from an antique store or something, just run it through some incense smoke. But yeah, that's also, so cleansing with air, super easy. You probably have stuff sitting around. You don't even need to go buy anything. You can wave a broom around and that will cleanse the air. You can wave a feather around and that will cleanse the air, or a bell, or beat your pots and pans together. Divination is another way that I tap into the element of air. Divination is an act of the air element as it helps you gain knowledge. Most people are performing divination to find something out, whether it's the energy of the day or they have a specific question. You're trying to tap into knowledge that you don't currently have, okay? So it automatically makes divination an act of the element of air. Now, if you want to boost it, light some incense before you perform divination. That way you can not only cleanse your tools, whether it's your tarot cards, your pendulum, whatever, you can run them through the incense smoke to cleanse them, but you're also amping up the air energy around you for when you go to perform divination. Mobiles or wind chimes are amazing tools of the element of air. You think that they just sound pretty, but again, sound cleanses. So if you have wind chimes in your sacred space, and maybe you don't have a window to open to where they're naturally going to, ring. If you can hang them by a window, open up that window, and when the air comes in, it rings them, automatically cleanses your space, that's great. Otherwise, when you go to enter your sacred space, if you have a bell or some wind chimes or some witches' bells, something like that near the door, then as you enter, you can ring it yourself and disperse that cleansing energy out as you walk in. And then the last one, I'm taking you back to childhood. Dandelion wishes are a form of magic. Fight me. When you were a kid and you would find those dandelion poofs, the white poofy ones, and you picked it and you closed your eyes and you made a wish, and then you blew the dandelion poof and you watched the air carry all the little dandelion seeds away. That is magic, you all. You are holding the dandelion, you're infusing it with your intention, and let's face it, most of us are going to have reached down and picked the dandelion with our dominant hand, which is the one you infuse things with anyway. Then you're sitting there with your eyes closed and you're saying, I wish, I wish, I wish. And then you state your wish. That's forming an intention. You're infusing your intention into the dandelion. Then you blow it, which is infusing your energy into your intention to carry it out into the world. And it's all the element of air. Dandelions resonate with the element of air. Your breath resonates with the element of air. You, as a young child, were performing magic. It is the same with birthday candles at a birthday party. You are sitting there, you light the candle, you focus your intention on it, your wishes, and then you blow it out with your breath, which infuses that candle with your breath, your energy, and it carries your intention out into the world. Those are the simplest forms of magic, and ones that even the little Christian kids are doing, and they don't even know it. They're all little witches running around blowing on dandelions. I love it. So that's what I have for you all today. I do want to let you know that this episode was inspired by the Ink Spirit Coven. This year in my online coven, we are taking the whole year to rewild your inner witch. That's the theme of the entire year. So what we are doing is each season we are working with an element, but we are like deep diving into that element and how to use that element for your magical practice. So we did start in March, but for the spring, so March, April, and May, we are working with the element of air. Now, for March, we started with using air to set powerful intentions, and then we did witches knot spells, K-N-O-T. Now, if you join now, if you're like, oh, well, it wasn't there for March, oh, well, the lessons are pre-recorded, or they're recorded and added to our lesson archives. So as soon as you join, you can go download the Book of Shadow pages for both the Setting Powerful Intentions lesson and the Witches Knot workshop. You can download the Book of Shadow pages, you can watch the videos, you can catch up. And that's what's beautiful, is you actually have over 2 years of knowledge in the lesson archives, where I did a whole other lesson on the element of air a few years ago. So you have access to that, the Book of Shadow pages, the replays of the videos, all of it. Okay, and then for April, we're working on meditation and visualization. So we've already done the class on that. So again, you can download the Book of Shadow pages, watch the video in your own time. But this weekend, coming up on the 21st of April, we are doing a guided visualization workshop. So if you join now, hopefully you're hearing this before the 21st, but if you decide to join now, you can read about meditation and visualization, and then you can join us for the live workshop, which, yes, I facilitate the lessons and the workshops every month. We have a Facebook group. It's an amazing community of supportive people. For May, we are finishing up the element of air with spell writing, and that is the lesson as well as the workshop. And the workshop is going to be really fun. I'm going to be doing writing prompts for everyone and then giving everyone a couple of minutes to just free write right there. So it's great. And then we're moving on in June to the element of fire. So that's going to be June, July, and August, and then moving forward there. But the entire outline is on the website. So if you want to learn more and maybe join us, then you can head to inkedspirit.com. Read all about the Rewilding Your Inner Witch program. So basically, at the end of the year, you will have deep dived into all 4 elements, really figured out who you are, what you want to do, how you want to practice your magic. And with the element of earth in the winter, we're going to reemerge. And you're going to be like, this is who I am witch, hear me roar, let's do this. So if that sounds great to you, and if you're vibing with me, I would love to have you in the coven, because this is how I am during lessons and workshops and all of it on the Facebook group, all of it. So again, head to inkedspirit.com to learn more and join us. I want to thank you all for listening, for giving me a platform to share my knowledge. And I will see you all again here soon. Bye.